Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 4.
Thousands of people are waiting for President Donald Trump to speak in Bemidji. The Minnesota town is turned into Trump world. He's visiting a key battleground stage at the same time as his Democratic opponent, Joe Biden. Valley News team's Joshua Piguero joins us live in Bemidji, where he spoke to supporters. Now, Joshua, what's the energy like out there?
Callie, I can tell you, I spoke with supporters and they're just excited to be out here and to be with other Trump supporters as well. The energy here is all about President Trump and getting him reelected for another 4 years in office. As you can see, earlier today we spoke with the people that were lining up at Bemidji Airport, and then a few of the things that they had to say were that coronavirus doesn't really concern them. It's the violence in the economy. When you come into Bemidji, you see it's like a sea of Trump flags and signs. Again, President Trump is scheduled to speak at 6. And so you're about to listen to a few of the supporters. Another thing that they brought up was also the issue of abortion. Take a listen.
And then rural Minnesota, I think after all of the shutdown, to just keep encouraging the opening up and getting businesses back.
This isn't just about Trump. This is about the United States of America. And the first, second, third, fourth, fifth amendments, about all of it.
We have choices, and it doesn't have to be abortion. There are people who long to have children. I'm one of them.
Again, Callie, Trump isn't scheduled to speak until 6, and what's so cool is that you're going to see Air Force One just fly in, and then immediately President Trump is going to go and start speaking. There's people here applauding for veterans, and there's signs of back the blue and things of that nature. But we're going to be here all day live on Valley News Live Facebook page. Make sure you tune in, as well as 5:30 KXJB, and then as well as at 6 o'clock on KVLY. So reporting live in Bemidji, Joshua Piguero, Valley News Live.
Thank you so much, Joshua, for that live report. And for today's Top 4 at 4, the Bemidji Police Department needs your help finding a teenage girl. 16-year-old Elizabeth Dominique was last seen at 1116 1st Street Southeast around 7 last night. Right now, police say she meant to leave the area. Elizabeth has brown hair and brown eyes. She was last seen wearing a gray sweatshirt, beige t-shirt with a flower design, and blue jeans. If you have any information, call the Bemidji Police Department. And a 25-year-old man is behind bars today in Minot. The Ward County Narcotics Task Force says they found over 5,000 fentanyl pills on the streets. They're valued at over $35,000. Drug agents say there have been many overdoses and deaths in Minot linked to the drug. And a man was shot at a South Fargo apartment complex last night. Police were called to the 1600 block of Gateway Circle South after residents heard gunshots. Officers say they found the injured man in Moorhead several hours later after he showed up at a friend's house and called police. And one man is behind bars and one person was injured after a fight at a South Fargo apartment complex last night. It happened inside one of the Summit Point buildings just east of Doolittle's. Fargo police say they were called to the 1700 block of Gold Drive South for a disturbance involving multiple people trying to kick in another apartment door. Police say one victim came out of the home bleeding from their face. 18-year-old CJ Kurthers ran out of the apartment and was arrested after a brief chase. That's a quick look at today's Top 4 at 4. Now let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson for our first alert forecast. Hey, Hutch.
Callie, I don't want to say we're twiddling our thumbs in the weather office, but take a look at this sky cam right now. There is one cloud out there, but make no mistake about it, we're keeping our eyes peeled on that cloud to make sure nothing goes wrong. Here is a look at what's going on temperature-wise this morning. Woo, it was a little chilly. Roseau, Baudette, low 20s there. A lot of frost across the region. Managed to stay in the low 40s here in the FM area. Hey, look at the warmth out to the west. The 70s making a rebound today, and the cloud cover, well, a little bit over Minnesota, but other than that, it looks very quiet for this evening. Coming up, we'll see these temperatures in the 60s for the next couple of hours, and in Fargo, we will be down into the 50s once we get past sunset. It'll be breezy this evening, Callie, so keep that in mind, 10 to 15 miles per hour. Grand Forks, it looks beautiful, and gone will be lows in the 20s. I'll have hour-by-hour details as we look ahead toward a warming weekend here in just a few moments.
Got to go out and enjoy the sunshine while you can, right, Hutch?
I'd love to do that, you bet.
Thanks. Thank you so much. And in Minnesota, the Department of Health is reporting 1,099 new confirmed cases of COVID-19, along with 8 new deaths linked to the illness. In North Dakota, there are 508 new cases, along with 2 more deaths in the state. The death toll now sits at 184. And with flu season just around the corner and COVID-19 spiking in some areas, you may be wondering what the difference is between the two. Flu and COVID-19 are caused by different viruses, but can have similar symptoms. Between headaches, fever, and sore throats, it can be hard to judge whether you have the flu or COVID. Allison Hornia with Sanford says the main difference between the two is that with COVID, you lose your taste of smell, your taste and smell.
School districts and daycare systems are recommending that patients quarantine for any of those sorts of symptoms right now, or that they be evaluated by their medical provider.
Sanford says this year it's more important than ever to get your flu shot. To find out how you can do that, download our BNL News app. And Moorhead High School students are going from hybrid to distance learning at the end of the month. The school district says COVID-19 case numbers have doubled for the second week in a row. Dr. Jeremy Larson with Moorhead Public Schools says pre-K through 8th grade will keep doing hybrid learning as well, all the cases are only in the high school.
We have them in cohorts, so it's a very different model than our high school. The mitigation strategies we have right now, we haven't had any cases at the K-8 level.
The district said making the transition on September 28th will give them the chance to get high school students ready for distance learning. And one man has been arrested after police say he broke into a U-Haul and rummaged through toolboxes. Fargo police went to the U-Haul on 13th Avenue South around 1:45 this morning. Someone reported a man was prying open an overhead door. The man was caught on video going through the toolboxes in the warehouse. As officers got the description of the male, they found him walking around the area. 32-year-old Hamid Uri was arrested for burglary. And the CDC has reversed its controversial guidance on testing asymptomatic people for COVID-19. The updated guidance posted today says those who were exposed to an infected person for at least 15 minutes needs to be tested, even if they are asymptomatic. The move comes nearly a month after the CDC quietly changed its testing guidance on August 24th. That is when the agency said those who have been exposed to the virus but did not have any symptoms did not necessarily need a test. Now the guidance says it's important for contacts to quickly be tested. And as we mentioned earlier in this newscast, President Donald Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden will both be in Minnesota this afternoon to campaign. Local viewers explain their reasons for why you should attend if you can and the importance of voting. Brian Sherrod reports.
President Donald Trump making his way to Bemidji this afternoon, while former Vice President Joe Biden heading to Duluth, both aiming to gain Minnesotan voters to win the state.
Well, if you're unsure about what candidate you intend to vote for, then this is another source of information direct from the candidate aimed at voters like you as Minnesotans, to trying to get your attention and get your vote. So that's one more source of information. I wouldn't rely on it alone, but it is one more source of information.
Back in 2016, President Trump losing the state of Minnesota by over 44,000 votes. This showing the importance of gaining these electoral votes. Both candidates trying to capture the 10 electoral votes in November.
It's more electoral college votes. That's, the magic number is 270 electoral college votes, and you get that by winning states. And if Minnesota is part of your calculation to get to 270, then you go to that state and you do everything you can to win it.
As Minnesota is considered a swing state, it is especially important to pay attention to what each candidate is saying.
I think Minnesota's a very split state. We're very red and blue depending on where you are. So it's important for both parties to get a different perspective.
Hedrick also stating to pay extra attention to how each candidates are spending their funding.
Besides the rallies, the one thing to watch for is how the candidates are spending money in the state. Are both campaigns, besides showing up for these rallies, are both campaigns running ads? Are they working with the Minnesota Party, Democrats and the Minnesota Republicans to get out voters that could help all sorts of candidates, not just the presidential side. And so that's another thing to look for how important they think Minnesota is.
As residents between ages 18 to 30 are known to be the biggest group of non-voters, it is especially important for them to get out and have their voices heard when it comes to voting.
Oh, your vote definitely matters. I mean, if you don't go out and stand up for what you believe in, who's going to do that for you?
Brian Sherrod, Valley News Live.
Joe Biden just finished speaking at the Union Training Center in Duluth. The president will speak at Bemidji Aviation Services tonight. Look for coverage of the Trump event on Point of View at 6:30 right here on KX4. You can find the latest on Valley News Live and on our VNL News app. And striking footage of ice loss in the Arctic that you won't want to miss. That's next on Valley News Live at 4.
And our Luther family Ford camera showing crystal clear skies across the FM area. Hey, some 70s return to our western counties, and there's more of it for the weekend ahead. Hour by hour details on that and a chance of thunder this weekend. Coming up right after this.